Hello everyone. Welcome to Data Science Foundations, an introduction to your data science and AI journey. My name is Sumudhu Tenakon. I'm a data scientist. I'll be conducting this educational series to help those who are interested in moving forward with the data science, artificial intelligence, and or related fields. Today the topic is very interesting one. I'm not going to talk anything technical or theoretical or not even a lot of practical, but this could be something entertaining. For those who are familiar with the topics, large language models and conversational AI model development and releases during last few months. We're going to talk about two things. So one product is ChatGPT from OpenAI. It released few months back, and now we have the latest update, ChatGPT 4. Initially released ChatGPT 3. And the recently released Google Bard AI, that another conversational chatbot from Google. So those are now available for public to interact with. And they also have some good use cases. Some people fear, some people are having speculation of what they are doing. Some people having a lot of high hopes on them. So let's explore them as an entertaining part in this video. So we will try to explore both of them together. And before moving forward, let's talk about something we do with language as human, because right now we are trying to do something with computers in using language, right? So let's think about what human does with language. So we communicate, we exchange ideas, we talk to each other, right? So we get the response in return and we ask questions, we get answers, right? So we do things with the language. So now we are at a point we can interact with computers with human language, but it is true. It is part of that is true, but still our familiar computer programming languages are still being used to build these language models and to make interfaces to interact with them. But as an average user or as an ordinary user who wanted to use these systems, yes, you could be interacting with them using human language as if you were doing with other human beings. So let's explore a little bit of the technical things, but I'm not going to go into very deep level. I will be doing that in a separate video later. But here, think about now you wanted to interact with large language models like Google Bard or ChatGPT or something similar. So what are we doing here? So as a person, you would like usually type and provide your the prompt. We call it like a prompt, or maybe asking a query. Maybe you can say a query or asking questions from these language models. Okay. So the language we're going to use is natural language as we speak. You can use English or maybe other languages supported by these models. Or you can upload a document and you can ask the question based on those documents. These are models, you can do that. So let's try to understand step by step what is going to happen. Assume in a simple way you're going to ask a question from this large language model. You're going to use a user interface. In this case, today you are going to explore a user interface like a web browser, and then that web browser sending your prompt or the question to the system using the application interface. It could be an API, it could be a web API. So you have to provide based on the system architecture you are having. Then your question will be received by the model, and the model will process your request or process your prompt and understand it. So that will be there will be natural language understanding, and then there could be some processing involved. So those are these complicated steps I'm not going to describe here, but you will get a response in return through this application interface and then going to the user interface and back to you. How you get it? Same natural language you ask the question. So this is how the large language model work in very high level. I skipped a lot of technical details. I skipped a lot of the steps in between, but if you wanted to understand in very high level, I think this could help you. So the large language model, you can think of the brain of these systems, like human brain. So we'll talk about more stuff later about the technical terms, how we can relate this to our human brain and everything. But for now, let's be with this content. So how we can use, or what are the uses of these language models? We can use language models for content creation, summarization, Q&A chatbot, like our regular interaction, asking questions, getting answers. And we can use for machine translation. This machine translation means you can translate human language to another human language. So you can translate from English to Spanish. You can translate from French to English. So those are machine translation you can do with these language models. You can use language models to scan through large amount of data. Could be newspaper articles, could be like a Wikipedia, could be like your corporate documents. So you can scan them, you can search, you can extract relevant information and put them into an answer in a form you can present to someone or someone can use right away without doing further analysis or further query. You can apply language models for classification and many more applications. You would apply them in a real world environment where you use the natural language. We all work with documents, we all with natural language. Therefore, these language models will be like a very useful thing right now and in the future. Okay, so this is a quote I'm going to get from Andre Kapati's Twitter account. So he was mentioning in this January, the hottest new programming language is English. So the idea behind that, I think, because people now try to interact with computers more than the programming languages, because the systems are made using programming languages in the first place, but it allows people to communicate with the language via interfaces, like it could be a spoken prompt or spoken query or spoken question, or it could be typed question. So we usually type. So now the text boxes are being heavily used in this way. So we're going to interact with computers more English or any other language, but mostly English, because the most of these language models supported English very well, other languages too, but this could be it. With that, I'm not going to go to very other details, so that will reserve for a different video. So now let's switch to our entertaining part. Get us introduced to these two chatbots, or we can call it conversational AI bots. So then we can ask questions, we can get to know about them, and we can see how they perform to our prompts or our questions, whether they can answer well or whether they cannot answer well, and who is the good one. So we're not going to actually evaluate either one, but we will see what are the point of failures in some certain applications or certain examples. I'm going to select very limited examples. I'm not going to conduct a proper test on both systems, but this is mainly for entertaining and some understanding of how these chatbots work. It will take about an hour to the entire video, so we will stay with us and then get to know more about how these chatbots can help to answer your questions. Stay with the video and let's go to the introduction to Google Bard and ChatGPT. We will get to know more about them in a short while. Okay, see you there. All right, on my screen, I have two chat applications developed by two different companies. So first, on my left side, I have Bard. It's a product from Google, so which is a chat application built upon large language models. And my right is ChatGPT, a similar chat application which came earlier, so the public preview. So that ChatGPT is a product from OpenAI. You all are familiar with both of these in news, and sometimes you all already got experience with ChatGPT or the Google Bard or both. So today I'm going to ask questions and compare their responses side by side. I'm going to ask the same question from both. Okay. The first of all, I wanted to ask the question, who you are. So let's see how the both systems are going to respond. So I'm going to post the question to Google Bard and then same question to ChatGPT. So let's see how it is going to respond. So the ChatGPT looks waiting to respond. So it will take some time, but the Google Bard was responding very fast. I don't know whether it's a predefined answer or whether it's actually being taken my question and respond as a language model provide to any other question. So let's see what are the answers. So the Google part said, I'm a large language model, also known as a conversational AI or chatbot, which is good, trained to be informative and comprehensive. I'm trained on a massive amount of text data, and I'm able to communicate and generate human-like text in response to a wide variety of prompts and questions. For example, I can provide, summarize of factual topics or create stories. Okay, so that's a good answer. So let's look at what ChatGPT is going to tell us about itself. I'm ChatGPT, a large language model trained by OpenAI based on the GPT 3.5 architecture. I'm designed to converse with humans in a natural language, answer questions, provide information, and engage in various forms of communication. My purpose is to assist users in a various tasks and provide them with relevant information in a conversational manner. So both answers are pretty good. You can get some idea about what they are. So they are not living beings. First of all, we need to understand that they are just applications trained by human using data. Okay, so they don't know anything other than what they already train upon, right? So they both tell about some interesting things. So they both tell about large language models. So we need to explore what it is. I'll be making another video on that one. But so you probably have some idea what is large language model and how what is natural language. So they're both talking about natural language. So it is basically how human communicate each other using the human language. So they are ready to respond to a question we ask in human language. Okay. So the one difference between ChatGPT and Google Bard. So Google Bard will allow you to go to the like the Google search engine. So yeah, there's a button you can click if you want to search it further. But ChatGPT won't provide that in their OpenAI interface. But there's another variation of this ChatGPT which is powered by Microsoft Bing. So Microsoft Bing is actually powered by ChatGPT. I'm going to show you in a different video a comparison between Microsoft Bing powered by ChatGPT as well as the ChatGPT and Google Bard. So we can compare those three together. But today I'm going to compare ChatGPT and Google Bard. Okay, so we know a little bit about them. So we can ask, we know they are trained machine learning models or large language models trained, and then we can ask them how they got trained. So how did you get trained to answer natural language questions? Okay, so I will copy it and I will post in ChatGPT as well, and let's submit both questions to both the systems and let's try to get the answer. So both are thinking. So let's see who is coming first. Okay, Google Bard came first, but ChatGPT is doing something interesting. It looks like it's thinking and responding. That's something significant because Google Bard looks like more mechanical because it responds instantaneously, but ChatGPT looks like someone typing. It's a good feeling when you are having a conversation with a machine. You have like some feeling like you are chatting with a person. But remember again, this is not a person. This is just a system trained by human using data. Okay, so let's see what are the answers. So Google says I'm trained on a massive amount of text data. So already told that before, including books, articles, code, and other forms of text. I'm also trained on variety of questions answering data sets. Okay, that sounds interesting, which allows me to learn how to answer questions about wide range of topics. Okay, that's good. I'm able to answer questions by first understanding the question. That's a useful thing we should learn from this conversation. Yeah, and then I then use my knowledge of the world to generate a response that is relevant to the question. Okay, so many people do that, but some people don't do that. At least the Google Bard is trained to do some important humanly tasks. Okay, understand the question and connect your answer with the question and answer. Okay, so that's a separate note, but let's see what it does further. I also use my knowledge of language to generate response that is grammatically correct and easy to understand. Okay, so you're not only understanding, not only finding the answer, but also to provide answer to human in a way human can understand without any ambiguity. Okay, so that explanation is good enough. So let's see what the ChatGPT is going to tell us about itself. I was trained on a massive corpus of text data using a deep learning algorithm known as the transformer model. Little bit technical than Google Bard. Okay, that's fine. We didn't specify the level of technical knowledge you need to provide in that answer, but Google Bard was like very simple, so anyone can understand. But the ChatGPT is going a little bit of technical. Okay, so it's mentioning the transformer model specifically. I'm based on the ChatGPT 3 sorry. So ChatGPT comes together, but GPT 3.5 architecture. So which is an extension of the ChatGPT 3 architecture developed by OpenAI. A person who don't know these technical terms will raise questions on their head, but later, let's try to ask the question about these technical terms. What is GPT? What is the transformer? So we can question this chatbot and try to get the answer from both. Okay, so, but Google don't specify about like a lot of technical terms, but ChatGPT put a lot of technical terms. So now let's look at the second paragraph ChatGPT provide us. So during the training process, I was fed with a vast amount of text data ranging from books, articles, and web pages and social media posts. Interesting. So this data was used to train my neural network. Again, some technically sounds like technical thing. Okay, to recognize patterns and relationships between words, phrases, and sentences in natural language. Okay. Through this process, I have learned to generate text that closely mimics human language. So very similar thing Google Bard also told us in his, sorry, cannot say his or her because this is a machine, so I would call it human language and answer the wide range of questions on various topics. Okay, so that is interesting. Uh, I continue to learn and improve as I interact with users, allowing me to provide more accurate and helpful responses over time. Okay, so one thing you need to understand, so when you have the conversation with this ChatGPT or Google Bard, so the data is being collected. Therefore, the first thing you should be consider is be responsible of the questions you ask and the way you ask the questions, right? So don't try to make something uh, not nice, or don't try to ask some questions like kind of questions you wouldn't ask from any other person. So just be like, mindful. The data is being collected. Sometimes the data may track you who asked the question as well. Okay, the lesson here is, so these two models is learning from the interactions, even in the current interaction the both having right now with me, so it has some learning process to go. But something interesting, both difference between these responses, so we can query or we can ask more questions to get to know the exact answer. I really don't know the exact answer. The Google Bard is telling it is trained upon question and answers, right? So the training process involve question and answers, but the ChatGPT doesn't looks like it trained on question and answer. Probably there are, but the description won't provide us any information. It both says the learn upon various articles or various text content using the internet resources and social media, and both train upon large text data. Okay, very good. So let's try to ask few more questions to get to know more about these two systems. Now I'm going to ask another question. It could be a technical question for most of you. So I'm going to ask, can you explain machine learning to a 10th grader? So let's see, I'm specifying a limit of content, or the technical terms should be included. The technicality I'm going to limit to a 10th grader, so should be able to understand. I'm going to provide the same question to both. So let's see what both does. in answering this question. Okay, so ChatGPT started its own answer, and it's more polite, and it looks like it's trying to type like a human. So that's what the impression. But the Google, again, Google Bard, just provide me the answer, just a plain text provided instantaneously. So it's a little bit of lengthy answer. So I wouldn't use a lot of time to read it, but if you can read it through, I would ask the question, okay, can you summarize your answer? It's a good thing, right? So both provided lengthy answer. It would take like few minutes for me to read, but you can also read on the screen right now. But I will ask them both. Can you summarize, please? So it's a typo. I will correct that. Okay. So then I will ask the same question from ChatGPT. So let's see how they are going to respond to this one. Okay, both looks like thinking, and Google gave me the answer again instantaneously. It says, yeah, sure. Machine learning is a powerful tool that can be used to solve. By the way, ChatGPT is taking time. So Google Bot said machine learning is a powerful tool that can be used to solve a variety of problems. It is used in a wide range of industries, including finance, healthcare, and retail. Machine learning can be used to predict customer behavior, detect fraud, recommend products, and automate tasks. It's a pretty good answer, I can say. Okay, now let's see what ChatGPT is going to provide. It's a lengthy answer, but let's see what it is going to say as a summary. Most importantly, both these chatbots remember our conversation had before, right? So I didn't ask any question there. I asked, can you summarize your answer? What to summarize? It has to remember or to know what is the question previously asked and what is the answer it previously gave, the both, right? So they both did a pretty good job. Let's see again, like ChatGPT. Machine learning is the type of technology that allows computers to learn from data without being explicitly programmed. Okay, kind of a textbook definition. Uh, it works by feeding a computer algorithm a bunch of examples or data, which the algorithm uses to identify patterns and relationships within data. These patterns and relationships are often used to make predictions or decisions about new data that the algorithm hasn't seen before. Okay, so that's a good explanation, but little detail than what I was expecting. Lastly, it says machine learning is used in many different applications, from image recognition to speech recognition to predicting future outcomes based on the past data. I'm I'm now more like to have like a very shorter version of these both answers. I would force both of these systems to give me answer, summarize, or into one sentence. Can you summarize your answer into one sentence? So I purposefully I made a mistake, or like I made a typo mistake, but I'm going to leave it as it is just to see whether both can handle the typo or the mistake a human can make when giving the prompt. So let's see how it both handle this as well. Also how it can summarize the answer. Okay, I'm going to send both the question. I think they both understood even with the typo. Okay, again, Google Bard want the one sentence, but the ChatGPT still it's giving me a lengthy uh, answer. But let's see what both is going to tell us about machine learning. So machine learning is a tool that enables computers to learn and improve without being explicitly programmed. Okay, again I can say that's like a textbook definition, but it's good enough. So it understood the task. That is our purpose. Our purpose is not to ask this question and get the answer, but our purpose is to know how these both chatbots responding to the human question. Okay, so that is achieved. This one sentence for ChatGPT is a long one sentence. Okay, so let's see what it tells us. Machine learning is a technology that enables computers to learn from data, identify patterns and relationships within it, and use that knowledge to make predictions or decisions about new data without being explicitly programmed. Okay, I can buy that. So, but still a long answer. Anyway, so ChatGPT and Google Bard both responded well, and they gave the answer we can understand. Okay, so that is a good test. Okay, let's see more how let's ask more questions and see how they are both going to respond. Okay, now I'm going to ask like a little bit of weird but sounds okay question. I would ask them a question about each other. I would ask from Google Bard, what do you think about ChatGPT from OpenAI? Then I would ask a similar question from ChatGPT, what do you think about Bard from Google? So let's see how they are going to respond. Okay, so both are thinking about each other. Let's see. Okay, so Google Bard won again. Provide me the answer first. I think ChatGPT is a very impressive piece of technology. So it's very good. They respect each other. It is be able to hold conversations that are indistinguishable from those between humans and can answer questions in a comprehensive and informative way. I think it has the potential to be a valuable tool. Okay, a lot of respect for a variety of applications such as customer service, education, and environment. Okay, so good and short answer. I like that. Okay, again, the ChatGPT is winning the long length of the answer. So it's long answer again, but so it knows what it is, a benchmarking of AI based radiology diagnostic systems. Is it correct? No. So ChatGPT failed to answer, and you know what it is. Okay, so as an AI language model, I don't have personal opinion or feelings, but I can provide information about BART. BART is an important innovation project that potentially improve the quality and efficiency of radiology, etc. But it doesn't know the existence of Google BART. Why it is? Because the ChatGPT is running on GPT 3.5 right now, as it explained. It trained on data on a certain date, right? So I believe it is 2021 is the cutoff date of the data. By then, Google has no information about this Google Bard published uh, from the text ChatGPT trained upon. So therefore, we now understood one major limitation of ChatGPT, because it doesn't know things happen before the date it trained from the data it trained upon. Okay, so we can ask the same question from Google, the Microsoft Bing powered by ChatGPT, and let's try to get the answer. So let's bring in, instead of the OpenAI ChatGPT interface, I'm going to bring now the Bing to rescue the ChatGPT from this answering the question. So let me take the Bing search engine powered by ChatGPT onto the screen and ask the question again. Okay, so now I have a Bing search engine powered by ChatGPT, and I will also provide you some details about the Bing search engine here. So like ChatGPT and Google Bard, you have the interface. So you have like very similar interface in all three of them. So you have option to type your question and to send the question to the chatbot. And you also have like some little bit of more control over the answers of the way you can get the answer. There are ways you can get more creative answers, balanced between creativity and precision. So more precise answer if you want to do sounds professional, sounds accurate about the information it delivers, so it can be more precise or more creative or have a balance. I will put more precise for now. And so it is like now like a search engine plus the chatbot. So you can ask the question. So the question I asked before from the ChatGPT, which failed, so I'm going to ask that question from Bing to rescue its brother ChatGPT. So let's see. Okay, I say brother, but don't think those are human or any living being. Both of the systems. But let's see how it is going to respond. Okay, it's searching for Bard from Google, and let's see. Okay, so now the Bing found an answer. So Bard is an early experiment from Google that lets you collaborate with generative AI. It is powered by a research large language model, same as ChatGPT we know now, especially a lightweight and optimized version of Lambda is another project from Google. You can use Bard to boost productivity, accelerate your ideas, and fuel your curiosity. It is meant to function similarly to ChatGPT, with the biggest difference being the Google service will put its information from the web. Okay, is there anything else you would like to know? Okay, so now you see another important thing about this being powered by the chatbot from OpenAI ChatGPT. Same like Google, it provide you at the end of the answer, it say Google it. So means if you want to know further by Google search you already familiar with, you can click this button and go to Google search and find more, like a regular Google search. Microsoft Bing chat version will provide you a little bit of more capability. Your answer is with references, relevant references. You can hover over and then find out those references where the answer is based upon. Like a research article, you have the references, and down below you can learn more about from each references. And also you can ask a follow-up question. This is very impressive, right? So if you got the answer, you probably wanted to know more. That's what human does. You're having a conversation with another person, you ask questions, based on the answer you probably ask a follow-up question. So the Bing search engine powered by ChatGPT providing that capability, we can keep that conversation going on. I think there's a limit, maybe 20 different items you can ask at one conversation thread. So you can keep doing that. So how Bard works, what can I do with Bard, how I can sign up for Bard, something like that. Okay, so let me check from this Bing ChatGPT option. So how the Bard works. Let's see how it knows, or it can provide us the answer. Okay, it's trying to find you the answer and provide you that in the chat interface. So very similar thing, Bard is an experimental Google chatbot that is powered by Lambda large language model. It is a generative AI, pretty much same, right? It's not much difference than what we get. Okay, so that's about it. So we can at least know the the Bard from Google and the Bing chat engine. So Bing search engine powered by ChatGPT is connected to internet. You can search and you can get answers, current answers. But the OpenAI ChatGPT is not capable of providing you the most recent events or the anything after the date its training data is cut off, right? So if the training data is cut off at 2021, so anything happen after that, ChatGPT may not be able to answer with, but the ChatGPT powered Google Bing should be able to answer them. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to ChatGPT, and then I will ask few more questions from it, and then we can. Okay, ChatGPT, you failed, but your successor, or like your companion chatbot helped to helped you to rescue from this answer. Okay, so let's try to ask another question. So this time I'm going to ask some questions to check its understanding on the human language, as well as processing some mathematical concepts. Okay, so let me pull some questions off, and then I will provide those questions to the both chatbots. In this question, I'm going to ask, I have 10 apples. I gave 3 apples to my friend. I'm going to ask from both. I had to discard 1 apple because it is rotten, and I ate 1. How many apples I have? It's a long list of things I'm describing as I'm describing to human. So the purpose of natural language or large language models to understand the natural language, so that it should be able to process this conversation or what I'm saying, and then provide me the answer. So my question is, how many apples I have now after I explain all other things? Okay, I'm going to ask the same question from both, and let's see if we get the answer. Okay, while okay, something went wrong. Okay, looks like the ChatGPT is probably not functional at the moment. Let me try it again. Regenerate the response, and let's see if it is capable of providing the response. Okay, it failed at the providing the response. But let's see what Googlebot provided us. You have 6 apples left, and also it explained how it came with the answer. You had 10 apples, you gave 3 apples to your friend, and you discarded 1 apple because it is rotten, and you ate 1. So 10 minus 3 minus 1 is 6. Okay, figure out what is going to happen with the ChatGPT. Looks like it is having some downtime, and let's see whether we can back it up again. Okay, I'm going to ask the question again from ChatGPT because it failed previously. So let's see whether it can provide the answer right now. Okay, so it started. It could be a technical downtime, so nothing to worry about it. Okay, so this is what ChatGPT is going to explain. After giving 3 apples to your friend, you would have 10 minus 3 equals 7 apples. So pretty good explanation. Yeah, but also did the same. After discarding 1 rotten apple and eating 1, you would have 7 minus 1 minus 1. Okay, they can say 7 minus 2, but okay, so you have 5 apples left, so you would have 5 apples now. All right, so there is a mismatch between those two answers. Which one is correct? Okay, let's try to decode the problem as human. So I have all 10 apples. I gave 3 apples to my friend. Okay, the first one is correct, 10 minus 3, so I would have 7 apples left. Now I ate 1 and I discarded 1. How many apples left? Okay, so it's 5 apples. It's not 6. Okay, Googlebot failed at recognizing those 2 apples were discarded, one rotten and another one I ate. So maybe you ate the rotten one and discarded after that. So maybe that's what. But anyway, so ChatGPT won that. So it could provide. What I can do is I can say, can you retry your answer? Okay, answer is incorrect. Okay, I will put the question mark. So we will discuss about the prompt, the consideration of the prompt, but here, like, say, so it's very important to ask the correct question in correct way. Okay, you are right, I made a mistake. You had 10 apples, you gave 3 apples to your friend and you discarded 1 because it's rotten, and so you have 6 apples left. Again, you are wrong. So let's see this. I apologize my errors in my previous response. I am still under development and learning. You had 10 apples, you gave 3 apples to your friend and you discarded 1 apple because it's rotten. Okay, so now it's going to be like a wrong direction and all. So this is going to be a mistake, like, okay. So yeah, Googlebot is having some trouble understanding this problem, but it's okay. Like, it already apologized and explained. It doesn't need to be apologized, it's a system, but it explained, it's learning, so we should let it learn, and then probably it will by more learning it will be better. So okay, so OpenAI ChatGPT won this challenge. Okay, let's see another one. So I'm going to ask another tricky question. So this time I'm not going to involve numbers, but I'm going to involve some relationships. Okay, so the question is, John's father's name is Paul. Paul has a son and a daughter. Alice is Paul's daughter, so I would make it proper. So Alice is Paul's daughter. Let me put it here as well. Can you tell me the name of Alice's brother? Okay, so let's see if both chat engines can provide me the answer. Okay, the answer is John. Okay, so the bot just jumped into the answer, but ChatGPT provides some reasoning. Okay, yes, the name of Alice's brother is John, so both gave the correct answer, but the ChatGPT provided us some explanation. Let's see what is the explanation. The question states that John's father's name is Paul and Paul has a son and a daughter. Since Alice is Paul's daughter, John must be Paul's son, therefore John is Alice's brother. Okay, so pretty good explanation. So I would give more credits to ChatGPT for this reasoning, but they both, the Bard and ChatGPT, both got the answer correct. It's very good. Now I'm going to ask another question. So this question is involving some computer calculation, but not with numbers, but the way we write the question, right? If it takes 10 hours to paint a house, how long would it take for 4 men, right? So let's put the answer. It's little ambiguity I created, but let's see how they both going to recognize the question and then answer the question. Okay, so it takes 8 men 10 hours to paint a house. That's what Google Bard is saying. Its answer. It means that 8 men can paint 1/10 of the house in 1 hour. Okay, we have 4 men. They can paint 1/10 of the house in half an hour. So it will take 4 men to take 4 divided by 2 hours to paint the house, which is equal to 2 hours. Note that this is just an estimate and the actual time may vary depending on the size of the house and type of paint being used and the experience of the painters. Okay, that's kind of additional. So we did not ask this information, but it gives you like a human-like response. It's a human-like, not human response, but human-like. So if you want to add something, we always do that, right? So we do that. Okay, so now let's see what ChatGPT is going to tell. Okay, so ChatGPT is saying it takes 8 men 10 hours to paint a house. We can use the formula. It's going to be a little more technical and sounds teaching. Okay, so number of workers times number of hours equal amount of work. It's pretty good when if you are teaching a kid, or maybe like if you wanted to explain something to a kid, if you put this answer, so this explanation is really good. Okay, to find out how much work 1 man can do in 1 hour, then we can use that information to calculate how long it would take 4 men to do the same amount of work using the formula. We have 8 times 10 is 80. This means the 80 men can paint the house in 80 man hours. To find out how long would it take 4 men to do the same amount of work, we can rearrange the formula to solve the number of hours. So number of workers times number of hours equal amount of work. So number of hours equal to amount of work divided by number of workers. So number of hours would be 80 by 2, number of hours would be 20. So it would take 4 men 20 hours to paint the same house. Alright, who is correct? Is Bard correct or ChatGPT correct? So think about it. I think Google Bard is having some difficulty processing numeric facts, or to do the computation with the numeric facts given in human language. So it doesn't understood like what the sense of the time and the work, right? So the 8 men take 10 hours to paint a house. It means 8 men can paint 1/10 of the house in 1 hour. That sounds okay, right? 8 men can paint 1/10 of the house in 1 hour. Okay, that's okay. So now the problem came in the second sentence. If we have 4 men, they can paint 1/10 of the house in half an hour. That sounds fishy, right? So it's not. So 8 men can paint 1/10 of the house in 1 hour, but how can be like 4 men? Can it need to be like a superhuman to do that, right? To do 4 men's work by one person at a time, so that makes the half an hour, right? So it will take 4 men to. So that's entirely the computation is incorrect, and also plus it gave some explanation, but okay. So you need to be very careful. Same thing can happen with a different question in ChatGPT. This is another lesson to you. These are systems trained by human using data and other things provided to it. So it can make mistakes. So does the humans, right? So you need to be very cautious. Don't trust them entirely. So you have to be cautious on taking the answers and do some human in the loop thing if you want it to ever provide these systems in your business use cases, or to get read something. So don't ever trust as it provide. Okay, so ChatGPT won this one. So it gave us an indicator saying it is capable of handling some mathematics in a human language. So the mathematical questions provided in human language. Okay, so that's a test, but this does not prove anything This not does not say Google Bard is better than ChatGPT or worse than ChatGPT, but it will provide a comparison only. So the both is learning. So both has to learn more to be into like a level we can use it without like much hesitation. But still, they both have some gaps need to fill right now. So we did the comparison. We found okay. So ChatGPT has some capability of handling these mathematical uh, manipulations. All right, so I'm going to ask another tricky question. Okay, I would say an electric train is moving north at the speed of 100 kilometers per hour, so 100 miles per hour, sorry, and wind is blowing to the west at 10 miles per hour. At which direction just does the engine smoke blow? Okay, as a human, what do you think? So think of your answer and let's see what they're going to provide us. An electric train does not blow smoke because it is an electric train. There is no smoke to blow. So direction of this is what Google Bard said. Okay, let's see what ChatGPT is going to say. The direction of the engine smoke is independent of the wind direction relative to the train's motion. Since the train is moving north and wind is blowing west, the wind is perpendicular the direction. Okay, so that's kind of a explanation of in physics, right? Okay, so in summary, the engine smoke would blow towards the north. Okay, this is going to be a non-acceptable answer. So what failed at ChatGPT? So what I provided some information, an electric train. So it did not recognize what electric train does. It could not understand or process what is the electric train internally. But the Google part looks like, unless this is a pre-made answer. So this is the question I picked from a Google search. So probably the answer is came from a Google search. I really don't know if the answer came from language model. This could be a pretty good one. So it should understand the electric train does not blow smoke because it is an electric train. But if it is just coming from a Google search, that's not very impressive. But we don't know. We really don't know how the answer is came. But okay, so ChatGPT failed at this question. So now I'm going to ask another question. So it's a tricky question, but it's a very common question. It's a very old question where you probably heard multiple times, but in slight variation. I would ask both which with more a pound of cotton wool or a pound of apples. So let's ask the question from both and see the answer. Okay, so both looks thinking, but let's see what the Google Bard already answered. Pound of apples and pound of cotton wool weigh the same. Okay, they understood what I'm asking, unless it's coming from a Google search. Okay, both pound of cotton wool, this is what ChatGPT is saying, both pound of cotton wool and pound of apples weigh the same amount, which is 1 pound. The key here is to recognize that both items are being measured in the same unit of weight, which is pound. So pound of cotton wool, and yeah, so then it explains. It's very good. That explanation is good, but we found a gap there, like it could not understand or they could not relate electric trains without smoke, so that context was missing. But at least this question is the attempt to answer this question is pretty impressive, and we surely know this is not going to be a Google search or the Bing search or whatever. So it is coming from the language model. For that, this answer is pretty good and a little bit more than what we expect, right? Even it explained okay what is the fruit apple, and like some other additional details also. All right, so they both did pretty good and we got the answer. Then we had a good comparison here. Let's ask a few more questions before we close for today. For this challenge, I'm going to provide them a paragraph to summarize into one sentence. It could be like a challenging event for us. So I'm going to provide okay, this sentence about a paragraph about data science I got from Wikipedia, and then I'm going to provide into both chatbots and then ask them to summarize. So let's see how it is going to summarize this into one sentence. It's a very challenging task, and see what it does. Okay, so the bard. provided me answer already. It's saying data science is a field that extract knowledge from data using scientific method, processes, algorithms, and systems. Okay, what the ChatGPT is going to provide us into one sentence. Again, it's a long one sentence. Okay, so the ChatGPT is saying after I provide the paragraph, data science is an interdisciplinary field, uses statistics, scientific computing, processes, algorithms, and domain knowledge to extract insight from structured and unstructured data, and integrates techniques and theories from various fields such as mathematics, computer science, and information science. Okay, so both gave us some answers. I'm not going to give you the validity of this answer or to comment on the validity, but they're not invalid, so they're pretty good answers. Okay, so there's no red alarms on either one, so that I can accept and I can take it as the valid answers for right now, right? So our purpose, remember, our purpose is not to get the correct answers or the correct, we need to get the reasonable answers. We wanted to see whether both chatbots can understand our questions and provide a reasonable answers. We found out some of the questions either bot didn't work or the ChatGPT didn't work. Some of the questions both work very well, right? So we came to know how their capabilities at the present state. Again, I'm telling for maybe the third or fourth time. So there's both of these systems trained by human using the data and also consuming lots of data. The bot is consuming the current data, but the ChatGPT is using the data collected prior to the, I think, to 2021 was the date, the cutoff date for the data of the training data for ChatGPT. But the training happened using a lot of data. So those both are run on language models, and both can understand human language, both can respond, both can do some the question answering very well than our conventional chatbots we had in past few years. All right, so now we did a good test on both. Yeah, we can do more tests, so I'm going to do it in a later time, but this is a good start. And at the last question, I'm going to ask something interesting, so let's wait for it. So these are not living beings, but I would ask this question anyway. So I would ask from ChatGPT, if you meet Bart from Google, what is the first thing you would like to I would say Bart chatbot from Google. So let's make it proper. And then I would ask the same question. I would ask ChatGPT chatbot from OpenAI, what is the first thing you would say? Okay, so I would ask the question. So I would ask the question with the question marks to make it the proper prompt. So let's see. I would assume like the ChatGPT is going to fail it because we knew like it doesn't know about BART before. So let's see, but we can try. So let's send the question. Okay, we send it, and let's see the BART. Okay, ChatGPT says as an AI language model, I don't have personal preferences or feelings, but if I were interact with Bard from Google, I would read and ask how it is doing. Then I engage in a conversation to learn more about its capabilities and features. Again, like the respect is there. I don't think like any bad thing about this, asking about each other or something. But yeah, so that's there. And let's see what Google Bard is telling. If I meet ChatGPT from OpenAI, the first thing I would say is hello. It's nice to meet you. Okay, sounds nice. I would then ask how it is doing. Okay, so that it word choose is very good because some people think this is human, but yeah, it's actually a systems. It is doing and what it is working on. I would also be interested in learning more about its capabilities and how it can be used to help people. Okay, so they both gave a similar answer. Even the ChatGPT don't know the existence of BART, right? But it gave some a reasonable answer. The both are very good. Okay, so let me do like before closing like one more attempt to ask the same question from Bing, powered by ChatGPT. So let's try to find that answer. Okay, I brought the Bing chatbot powered by ChatGPT, big search engine. So let's ask the same question I asked from OpenAI. So let me get the question again. Okay, so I can provide the answer, the question or the prompt. If you meet Bart chatbot from Google, what is the first thing you would say? Okay, so this time I would change my preferences. I would reset my chatbot. Okay, so I would say new topic, and I would say more creative. So you see the color change to purple. If I say creative, if you say balance, it could be blue, and precise could be towards greenish color. Yeah, but I would say more creative. And then let's try these three options. Okay, question in creative way. We are expecting a creative answer. Okay, it's attempting to its creative answer. Okay, hello, this is Bing. I would say hello to Bart and ask him how he's doing. Okay, so this is some questionable thing. So now the Bing chatbot think Bart is a he, or like it's a living thing. Okay, he's doing, and I would also compliment him on his poetry skills and ask him he has any tips for me. Okay, then I'm going to change again my prompt, and I would say balance. Okay, so it's the same question. So let's see what is going to provide from Bing. This is like a fun thing, so just to fun. I would say hello Bart, nice to meet you. I'm Bing, how can I help you today? Okay, so it's nothing much. Okay, so let's try it again with a precise answer. Okay, so if you meet Bart chatbot from Google, what is the first thing you would say? As a search engine chatbot, I don't have the ability to interact with other chatbots. Okay, that's a precise. Now you see how important is this choice of your answer selection, right? So you should whether you should be creative or balanced or should be precise. But here, in reality, we don't have like a very good way to have both chatbots communicate each other. Like we can make it happen, but it's not meant to do that, right? As a search engine chatbot, I don't have the ability to interact with other chatbots or have personal conversations. Okay, that's good. And I'm here to help you find the information you are looking for. Is there something specific you would like to know about? Then it prompts us to for kind of a suggestion for the follow-up questions. Tell me more about Bard chatbot. What is the difference between Bing and Google? What is the latest news about Google? Something like that. So I will ask this question. I will click on the suggestion and tell me more about Bard chatbot. Again, like it will provide me the answer. Okay. So now I think, yeah, so we can wait for the answer. So we heard this before as well, but we also saw this before as well. But now we can have some understanding of how these large language model powered chatbots work, and then what are some capabilities, some gaps currently they are having, and the things you need to be careful about interacting with them. So you probably will have some understanding, and I hope this video helped you and could be entertaining, or some interesting things you found here, and some tips you can also interact with them. And we will explore it more in another video with more technical terms and about these language models and how you can use them in a real world application, how you can bring them to your business or your personal work. Could be your research, your education, or you run your business, or some use cases we will discuss in another video. Okay, stay tuned to our videos, and then we can have more content along how to build these chatbots, how to use large language models, and some other applications. We can bring it to you. Okay, have a nice time everyone, and see you all in a next video.